This episode has been brought to you by Fornos Law Firm, devoted to optimizing your legal results at fornoslaw.com.
Welcome to Pushroom Life After Injury podcast for October 10th, 2012, episode 16. Special guest, Mark Willits. I'm Ray Pizarro.
And Boris Del Cid.
I'm Richard Bell.
We'd like to welcome everyone once again for another topic of discussion here at the Pushroom Network. It brings me great joy and pleasure to introduce to you guys a really, special friend and someone really inspirational that to this day inspires me, and I have no clue how he does it, gets up every day and does what he does. But Mark Willits, welcome to the show.
Good to see you guys. Marky. Thanks for having me.
Anytime, Mark. Thanks a lot for stopping through. I know it's quite an effort to get around sometimes, but we got to do what we have to do,
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to let you go ahead and let people know a little bit about yourself and what your injury was like and the challenges you face, if you will.
Sure. I'll start from the beginning. I was born in Iowa in 1981. Grew up on a farm there with both of my parents and two brothers. I have an older brother and a younger brother. And from an early age I enjoyed working on the farm, working with my dad and mom and working out there in the combine and tractors and working with the animals we had. We had a lot of cows and some chickens and other animals. And so from a young age, I was always helping with the farm. Like my brothers and I, we would always go out there and just loved helping Dad. It's something that young kids love to do. It's one of the fun things about growing up on a farm as well. But in February of 1997, I was unloading a trailer that had a bunch of wood in the back of it, and I unstrapped about 10 sheets of plywood from the inside of the trailer, and all 10 sheets fell down, hit me on the head, smashed me to the bottom of the trailer, and gave me a C3 spinal cord injury. And, at that moment, I instantly became paralyzed. I had a C3 spinal cord injury, and so I stopped breathing. My diaphragm muscle stopped working, and so I wasn't able to breathe, and I passed out and was unable, don't remember anything for about 8 days, but I do remember waking up in the hospital about 8 days later in an ICU in Des Moines, Iowa, the largest city in Iowa. And I was in the ICU about 3 months, and in the ICU, it was a huge struggle. I was, I realized I was paralyzed from the neck down. At first I thought, I'm going to get up and walk. I'm going to be able to overcome this. I've seen guys do it on TV. I've seen football players like Dennis Bird was one that I remember very vividly, and he was able to walk after his spinal cord injury. And I thought, I'd be able to do the same thing. I thought I could fight back, and with the right rehab and the right medical care, I'd be able to walk again as well. But, as we all find out later on, that's not the case for all of us. It is for a very small percentage, but after quite a while, I found that out and decided at some point I had to go do some rehab. So I chose to go to Craig Hospital in Colorado, which is a place that specializes in spinal cord injury rehab and brain injury rehab. And I was there about 4 months in 97. And that's where I learned to use my wheelchair and what medications I need and how to manage my skin and bladder and bowels and, all the stuff that we need to do in our day-to-day lives as quadriplegics or paraplegics. So it was a really good experience to be able to go to Craig and learn what I learned there.
How difficult was it to transition from Craig's back to home life?
For me, it was very difficult. I had just turned 16 right when I broke my neck. I was 16 years old, 21 days old. So I'd actually just bought a car the day before I broke my neck.
Oh, no.
And so luckily we were able to take the car back. It was a friendly dealer, and one of our neighbors that we bought the car from. But coming back home from the hospital in the summer of 97, after I was hurt in February, was extremely difficult. That was when I realized that this is my new life. This is my new reality. I am paralyzed from the neck down. I need somebody with me 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, because I am still on a ventilator. I cannot feel anything below my neck. I cannot feel my toes. I can't lift my arm. I can't scratch my head. I can't do anything. The only thing I can do is shrug my shoulders and rely on other people to do whatever I need to be done. And so at first it was very Very hard. I became very depressed. I was in bed for most of the time for several months, rarely got out of bed, didn't eat much, didn't drink much, lost a lot of weight, looked pretty terrible. And eventually, I can't really say that there was just one moment or one time or one decision, but after a while, I just decided I was going to use my mind and use the part of my body that's most important, my brain, my mind, and take what I had and run with it. I was still able to do a lot in life. I could go to school, I could go to class, I could finish high school, I could do whatever I wanted. I was still only 16 years old, and I still had a lot of my life ahead of me. I knew that my life was different, but it was something I could still do nonetheless.
So how long did it take you to get back to school? Did you to go immediately back in, or did you take a few years to get yourself situated? How was that?
Well, when I was hurt in February of 97, it was the middle of my sophomore year in high school. So that summer I came back, I did finish up some of my classes, and then I did graduate in May of 1999, which is the same month I would have graduated without my injury. And so that's a personal goal that I made.
Sure
what
it
I did.
is. That's right.
And I was able to accomplish that goal. And so that was, the first step of many first goal of many that I've accomplished to get where I am in life today. And it's something that one of the reasons I'm here today is to share with people that it's a goal that anybody can achieve, not just me.
Now, did you attend, sorry, Richard, did you attend the same high school that you were going before, or were you doing homeschooling?
I attended the same high school with an attendant. I always have. Because I'm on a ventilator and still rely on the ventilator for breathing today, I need somebody with me 24/7. So I always have an attendant, whether it's a family member or a nurse or someone that's paid, an employee, someone that's working for me. I always have somebody with me to help me meet my needs, to open the door, to flip pages, to pick up my arm if it falls off the wheelchair, things like that. So I did attend the same high school, and that was a struggle because the high school was built in 1918, I believe, and I was only able to get into a couple classrooms. And so it was a struggle fighting with some of the teachers and some of the administrators there because they really didn't want me there, honestly. They wanted me to go to the neighboring school, which was accessible. But I said, no, I'm going to graduate with the same friends that I've known since I was born. I'm not going to go to another school just because you don't want to make this accessible.
Absolutely. Were you able to get your attendant to feed you answers on your tests?
No, luckily I didn't need that. I did good enough in school. I didn't need to cheat, but,
okay.
Now,
Because I might need to.
while you were attending a high school there, were you already making plans to go to college? Yeah?
yeah, I'd always had a goal to go to college. Since I was a young kid, it was something I was going to do that was my plan in life since I was young. Both my grandparents and parents had gone to Iowa State University, and that's where I grew up, about 30 miles from Iowa State. And so my plan from a young kid was always to go to Iowa State and attend school there and figure out my way.
What kind of subjects were you thinking of doing?
What was your major?
Well, I started out in engineering. Me and some other friends started out in engineering, and we enjoyed it for a while. One of us actually finished in engineering, but several of us did not finish. And I started out. I did about 3 years of computer engineering, electrical engineering as an undergrad. I did 2 years at Iowa State, and then after my second year, I did an internship with IBM. And after that, I decided, you know what, this Midwestern winter stuff is just a little too much for me in a wheelchair.
Especially being a quad, right? With temperature issues.
An upper quad too is worse.
Right. Us C3 quads were almost always cold, so.
Very, very hard regulating temperature. You're probably freezing.
Right. And so being in Minnesota and Iowa, Minnesota's where the internship was. I decided, you know what, I've had enough of this. I'm going to transfer to warmest place I can find. And I applied to Arizona State University and got in down there.
Yeah, that's pretty warm.
That's a pretty warm place, right? We all know how hot Arizona is, right?
That's because Death Valley State was closing their windows or doors then. No, so you did you finished in Arizona State with a degree in computer major?
No, when I transferred to Arizona State, I decided I was going to try something else because I after working at IBM for 8 months, I was writing software every day, and it just wasn't something I enjoyed.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I switched to political science, kind of with the goal of going to law school, but I wasn't set on anything for sure, but I just knew that I wanted to take some classes I enjoyed instead of classes that I wasn't really enjoying.
Awesome.
And so I did finish at Arizona State in May of 2005. And during my last year at ASU, I applied to several law schools, got into a few of them, and one of them was UCLA.
Go
Nice.
Bruins.
Yeah, and I came out here.
Fellow brother Bruin.
That's right. And so I came out here to visit, and it was a great time. And basically, I said to myself, how can I not come out here? Opportunities are pretty endless out here. And so
And the weather wasn't too bad.
the weather's pretty damn good, too. So.
Yeah.
So how'd you end up graduating with the law degree eventually? Or?
I did. I took 3 years to do law school, just like everyone else. And that was another goal, was to, be just like everyone else and graduate in 3 years if possible. If not, of course, I was willing to, if I needed to take time off because of a health problem or because I just couldn't do it, of course I would stop and I would slow down. But luckily I was able to do it in 3 years.
Now I'm curious, for you taking up law and graduating, was being in a chair and facing different, obstacles and places that were inaccessible and try to make changes in that way. Did that motivate you, or did you see something that kind of said, you know what, I need to try to get in this to see what kind of changes I could make to future people in chairs? Or
Yeah. I mean, I think that, in general, people, whether you're paralyzed or not, you have an obligation to your fellow humans to leave the world a better place than when you found it.
That's right.
Or at least not worse. And so, that was part of the motivation for going to law school, is to see how I could help other people in the disabled community. And so, I mean, at first I wasn't so interested in disability law. I didn't want to, just because I'm disabled, study disability law and work disability law. But it turned out that that's an excellent field where there's a lot of need for good attorneys and people to fight for the rights of the disabled.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, let me summarize this for those of you out there that are listening and watching. You get injured at age 16. You're going through high school. You finish high school on time, as if you had not had that injury, although you did. Then you go to college, and then you graduate with a degree that allows you to apply to one of the best law schools in the nation. And then you finished 3 years of law school on schedule. Now, are you really a quadriplegic? Because I don't know.
Check the video.
I'm
Check the video if you're
doubting
only
this.
listening.
If you are indeed, we are awarding you the cape. You are another one of our cape man.
Well,
Dude.
it's impossible for me to take all the credit. It's impossible for anyone to give me all the credit because
Team effort.
As we all know, every one of us quads are a product of our team and
Right.
our support system. I have two brothers that have done an incredible amount to help me, from moving to Arizona to moving out here, and all the crazy times that I've needed someone to fill in and take care of me at the last minute. And my parents as well. My parents have been there just as much as my brothers, and I've also had great insurance. I was lucky to have that. I've had great mentors, great caregivers,
And I understand you have a
Indeed.
great wife.
and a great wife.
Well, now you're jumping
Absolutely.
my next point. I was going to say,
I was
okay,
doing
all
a
this,
segue, bro.
yeah, all this is accomplished. Now, if that wasn't enough, here you go and finish everything in your life getting put together, and you marry this beautiful, bright wife of yours. Tell us about your wife.
My wife's name is Sheila. We met in July of 2004, when we were both living in Arizona, and she applied to be a caregiver. And she was a caregiver for quite a while, and then we figured out that there's something between us, and so we started dating. And long story short, when I graduated in May of 2008 from law school, she also graduated from Pepperdine with a master's in marriage and family therapy. And at our graduation party, she was quite a I don't know, what's the right word? She's definitely
A ray of light.
the ray of light. That's a good way to say it. But she got down on one knee and proposed to me at our graduation party, and I said yes. So
Congratulations,
Beautiful.
man.
Congratulations.
See, those stories are definitely need to be shared to a lot of people to let people know there is life after injury. Never give up on your dreams and hopes. Here's a living example, Mark.
Absolutely.
You know, when you think there's no way out and nowhere to go, goes a man that looks in the mirror and says, you know what? It is what it is, but I'm not going to waste away. I'm going to go for it and die trying instead of die wondering if what would have, should have, could have happened. You know?
Right. So now you have started a practice. I mean, you're in practice now for disability law. And, also we want to, mention that, Mark is, one of the attorneys at Fornos Law Firm, which is our, website of the day.
Yeah.
FornosLaw.com.
And a great sponsor.
One of
Appreciate you
our
guys.
exactly, one of our great
Platinum
sponsors. So in the event of having any questions or any problems that require legal advice, we would like you and encourage you to visit or call or contact, Mark Willits, JD from UCLA at FornosLaw.com.
yeah, our website is fornoslaw.com. Our phone number's 310-204-3529. 310-204-3529. And you can always look us up on the web or give us a call.
Exactly.
We at Fornos Law, we specialize in two things. One is, if you've been injured or wronged somehow, either through a mistake of your own or it's the mistake that's not your own.
Mm-hmm.
We can represent you in that case. And the other situations we can represent you is if you've been discriminated against because of your disability. We are a law firm that fights for the rights of the disabled and the injured, and we will do our best to represent you and make the situation right.
Now, if,
Unbelievable.
now, can I get you
That's
to
right.
represent me for Boris making me fall all the time?
Well, I'm no attorney, but that's indefensible. You have to prove it first.
That's right.
I like to say, Mark, dude, thanks once again for making me, I thought I was an overachiever, but now you just make me feel like a deadbeat again. That I thought I was able to do a lot, doing good work out there, but now that you outdone me.
No deadbeats in this broadcast.
We are all on our own journey. We are
Absolutely.
we are all doing what we can
That's right.
each day, and we all need to get up and challenge ourselves and
Right.
fight for our rights and try to become independent and just try to leave the world a better place than we found it.
Now,
Absolutely.
Well said.
Along the lines of law and accomplishment, I like to also say congratulations, Myra Fornes, for the accomplishment of getting that commendation from the city of Culver City, which was awarded to her based on her work for the disabled community. That was awarded to her last Monday.
Congratulations, Myra.
Myra,
Congrats.
our hats tip to you. Thank you for representing our community and doing such a great job. By the way, there's another person that I take the opportunity because I know this podcast is going to be huge. We're going to have like a lot of hits, but there's somebody behind the cameras that has been with us from day one, and we haven't given her all the props yet.
Who's
and
that?
she's not going to be popping into the camera. I know her, but
Not yet, at least.
She's part of the team.
she is definitely. I mean, you see everything in here that has been set up. The cameras that you don't see, the microphones and all this stuff is
She has
all
to help us gimps.
right. It's all because of Ema. Ema happens to be the lovely wife of our good friend and brother, Richard Bell. So Ema, thank you so much. You do everything for us every time. So thank you.
Thank
we
you,
appreciate
honey.
it.
That's right. So, in closing, once again, Mark, dude, you've been a super inspiration, and we'd like to have you back in the future for, other episodes of different topics, or just if you're in the area, we could swing by and do another cool show about you, regarding any topics that you might want to discuss. But
Absolutely.
yeah. And any particular place they could contact you directly, or is the law firm the best way to get with you? Or?
Yeah, just contact me through the law firm is probably the easiest way to do it. So,
Okay.
yeah, if you have any legal questions or legal problems, give us a call anytime or
Please
email
ask for
through the
Mark.
website. And thank you guys for having me.
No, thank you.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah, thanks
so
for coming
Rich,
by.
where can people find us on the web?
They can find us at our YouTube channel, which is Club Pushroom. Just go to YouTube, punch in Club Pushroom, one word, and please be sure to subscribe to our channel.
And social network at pushrim.com.
Also, check us out on iTunes and take us on the go. If you're out there pushing, exercising, please feel free to subscribe and download
Podbean, too.
our show. Yes, and our Podbean directory. So, once again, Mark, thanks a lot. Thank you for
Thank
coming
you, Mark.
in.
Thank you guys.
Richard, Boris, been fun, and
Ema.
and we
Shout out.
will catch you guys on our next episode. Peace out. Later.